I am live. I'm going to go post our link over on the website real quick, and then we're going to get started. Copy. All right. The website is denverguitarorchestra.com, and we will have all of the sheet music, tablature, blah, blah, blah over there. Control link. And from there, you obviously download everything you need for the class. And then from there, we will also be doing all the good stuff that needs to happen in your life to make you a great guitar player. And so right now, I'm just posting our link there so everybody can get logged in here. It's been a little insane as always today. And I do apologize. I'm running a tiny bit late. Give me just another minute or so, and we will get started. Make sure the link works properly, which it does. And then let me post yesterday's link on the archive page, and then we'll be ready to start. And I don't understand how time works apparently. It's already 3 minutes late, and I'm still getting yesterday done with. All right, there's this, that, update. All right, today we're playing some Farmer in the Dell, some Skip to Malou, some Streets of Laredo, and some YMCA. We're going to start with Streets of Laredo. I think that sounds like the way to go. Sounds good, and I am hopeful. Vic has walked in with a positive sense of the future. I just beat her up over in ukulele class, and so 73 degrees, and then it's raining in Cuenca. What the heck? Almost perfect weather there every day. So hi everybody, sorry I'm running late. I had ukulele class ran a little late, and then I had to jump on a Zoom thing for the building here, and then now I don't feel prepared for anything. So thank you for being here. Let's start, since we spent a lot of time talking about the first two songs, level 1 and level 2 last time. I'd like to just dive into level 3 right off the bat here today. So I'd like to go to Streets of Laredo, because there's many lovely things about Streets of Laredo, and let's talk about what's good, how we can make your guitar sound really good. It turns out I'm going to need a guitar. All right, you saw that I'm wearing shorts, okay, like a hippie. All right, let's get this around me. Okay, Streets of Laredo. Hi, everybody. Let's play some cowboy music. I don't know, it doesn't sound like I'm in tune. Are you in tune? Let's find out. I am not in tune. I don't know if you can hear that fan or not, but it's probably not going to help. All right, so hopefully yours sound about the same as me. All right, Streets of Laredo. It was originally an Irish tune, and then it became a cowboy tune, and it has way too many verses. And basically, this young fella was causing a bunch of trouble, so they shot him, and he's going to die. And so he's busy there planning his funeral as he's bleeding out in the middle of the street. And we're going to sing a sad song to him. He was a troublemaker. We know that because it says so as much in, he admits as much in his story here. And so we want to know that while we're sad about anybody dying, he probably had this chaotic coming to him. All right. 3 chords: A chord, index, middle, ring. And again, we usually start from the 5th string down. Okay. Then we go to E7. When you're working on chord changes, it's not so much whether you can make any particular chord. At level 3, you should be able to make all chords. The question is how to get from one to other efficiently. And so when you go to an E7, what I do, and not always, but most of the time, I'm going to go for the E chord and then lift my ring finger up. Okay, so I'm coming from an A, index down, these two guys up, lift this guy up. About the time he settles in, he's going to lift him up. And then to get back, I'm leading with the index finger back to A and there. And so it's worth your time to think about the micromanagement of your left-hand fingers to help increase your speed and increase your confidence level when you're working on that type of stuff. Now, there's an A chord. Now, the next chord that comes up is a D chord, right? And you're going to come at it from an A, and with that one, you're just simply dropping your index finger, and then these other two guys, he drops even further, and then he reaches out. We try to just use 4 strings. Okay, and then to get back, index finger leads, middle finger, ring finger. Okay, then I'm going to go to E7. And then we go on to page 2. Okay, same exact story. Everything's A, E7, A, E7 until measure 7. When you're sitting on an A, drop to the D, go back to the A, go to the E7. Now, the E7 in measures 8, and the same exact thing happens in measure 9, are going to be relatively optional depending on how fast you're playing and how well you're playing. Cold as the clay. Okay, so it's an 8th note that you're going to be doing an entire chord switch for. And here's what I have found over my lifetime with guitar. You have an A, you have an E7 for 1/8 note, and then you go back to A. And what I have found is if you don't do anything at all and just ride the A out, you're probably going to be fine. Okay. Wrapped in white linen and cold as the clay. Cold as the clay. Okay. So you don't have to do that E7. Is it going to sound better? Heck yeah. Cold as the clay. Okay. So your goal would be, yeah, I do want to play it, but depending on what level you're at, depending on your comfort level with the song, depending on how much energy and effort and perfectionism you have, you may or may not take that E7 in the middle of measure 8 seriously. I think it's perfectly fine to not do it. And then on the only note I have on my paper here, when we get down to the tough acts section, I did add in a chord at the very end, and you probably already know this, but A chord is here, right? There's also an A note sitting right here on 5, so you can do a nice bar on 2 and your pinky on 5, and you get a real complete, real pretty A chord there for finishing up. So if you've done it 17 times around or 12 or however many you're supposed to do it 8 times around, you're not going to do it 8 times around. You might do it 3, but then let your audience know, hey, I'm all done with a little bar on 2. Keep your A string open, and then your pinky on that 5th fret, and it sounds like a real nice way to end the song. Okay, so let's sing through it twice. I don't necessarily know all the words. Sometimes I just sing the first verse twice, but let's get our chord shapes, make sure our chords are moving well for us. Okay, it's in 6/8. We've talked about this before. 6/8 is really 2. Okay, you really count it in 2. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. As I walk down the streets of Laredo, as I walked out on Laredo one day. So that's the pulse that you're thinking about. And when you're the chord player, remember your job is to keep the rhythm. You're in addition to being the harmony player, you're also the drummer, and so you want to do everything you can to keep that nice and consistent and steady, especially in cowboy music, which is pa 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 pa. 1 2 3 4. Da 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 da. Dun, 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 dun. It's a very steady, consistent. We're not bringing in a lot of subtlety and that sort of stuff into cowboy music. We're bringing in, hey, we're out on the prairie and we're singing a song on our guitar next to our horse, right? And so try to keep it steady. Okay, let's give it a try. We'll go twice through. Pay attention when you get down to measure 8. The first time through, you are going to play measure 8. The second time through, you're not going to play measure 8, and you skip to measure 9. Okay, from the top. 1, 2. As I walked out on the... Oops, I blew it. And a chord change. Okay, let's try it again. 1, 2. As I walked out on the streets of Laredo, I walked out on Laredo one day. I spied a young cowboy all dressed in white linen, and cold as the clay. I see by your outfit that you are a cowboy. Words he spoke as I slowly passed by. Come sit down beside me and hear my sad story. Shot in the chest and today I must die. Okay, so that's probably too fast for that song, right? I don't know what speed I was playing it at necessarily, but it felt way too fast. So if you do that and you're working on your song and you're like, that is not going very well for me, my first thought always when something's not going well, slow down, try to ascertain what's not going well about it, and then you can always speed back up, but it's much more informative and you'll become more knowledgeable by slowing stuff down. Okay, so that was just a straight strum. Let's try plucking instead. Okay, 1, 2. Let me count it again. 1, 2. As I walked out on the streets of Laredo, I walked out on Laredo one day. I spied a young cowboy all dressed in white linen, and cold as the clay. Whoops. See by your outfit that you are a cowboy. These words he spoke as he slowly passed by. Come sit down beside me and hear my sad story. Shot in the chest and today I must die. Okay. That was plucking 6, and that felt too busy. So 1 felt a little too boring. This one felt too busy. So trying to come up with some other solution might be worth your while. Let's try an arpeggio pattern. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Thumb, index, middle, thumb, index, middle, thumb, index, middle, thumb, index, middle. Start with your A chord. 1, 2. Whoops, I didn't do it right. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. As I walked on the streets of Laredo, I walked out on Laredo one day. I spied a young cowboy all dressed in white linen, and cold as the clay. Come sit. How's it go? 1, 2. Come. Let's go down. Let's see. Have 6 jolly cowboys. Pick. Is it pick or how did we start that line? 6 jolly cowboys. A get. All right. Let's do 6 jolly cowboys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Get 6 jolly cowboys to carry my coffin. not roses to deaden the claws as they fall. I don't know the words. That's what's messing me up. Learn the words to the song that you're about to tackle. Right? They're kind of sweet little words, right? But the idea there, that started to sound a little bit more like what we're looking for in our cowboy tunes. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. The other thing to think about, this has A, D, and E7. And what you love to do, what almost all cowboys love to do, if it's an A chord, your thumb hits the A string. If it's a D chord, your thumb hits the D chord, okay, or D string. And then if it's an E chord, your thumb hits this E string, okay. So the next thing we'll try is, let's grab your chord, A, plunk, 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 plunk. So we're going to do thumb and then all three of these, plunk, plunk, okay, plunk, 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 plunk. And if it's an E chord, top string, A string, and then D chord, you're going to use a D string, and then back to A, and go to E, back to A. Okay, so what you're really doing is a boom chuck there, right? Boom chuck, chuck, index, put a chord on. Thumb, pluck, pluck, boom, chuck, chuck, boom, chuck, boom, chuck, chuck, boom, chuck, boom, chuck, chuck, boom, chuck, chuck, boom, chuck, chuck, boom, chuck, chuck, boom, chuck. Right to E7, A, boom, chuck, boom, chuck, E7, boom, chuck, chuck, and then the A. Try that. That should sound pretty. Right? Thumb, and then pluck the three together. 1, 2, up. It's in 6. 1, 2. As I walked out on the streets of Laredo, as I walked out on Laredo one day, I spied a young cowboy all dressed in white linen, and cold as the clay. I sit down, how's it go? Come, I see by your outfit that you are a cowboy. Words he spoke as he slowly passed by. Sit down beside me and hear my sad story, wrapped in the chest, and today I must die. Okay, maybe there, add a little oop, must die, right? Get a little bit different feeling in your plucking arrangement. That starts to sound really cowboyish and really like what we're looking for. Pa pa, pa pa, pa pa, pa pa. And that's a waltz pattern, which you're getting away with inside of the 6/8. So basically, two little waltz patterns in every single measure, more than just a pa pa, but boom chuck chuck, or pa pa, pa pa. It sounds nice, right? And so it's a way to bring some texture into your singing and playing if you're using all chords. Now, if you're not a singer, obviously I'm not. Let's go ahead and play through the melody, and then we'll add in the walking bass line on this one. This is one of the only, as far as I remember, in the entire series, my only song that I put a walking bass line in, and it actually works really good if you can get a song in A with only D and E chords in it, which a lot of the cowboy stuff is. Boy, you're all set. You can really get some good practice in with your thumb. So first, let's learn the melody. Okay, so let's go through just playing the guitar line. 1, 2. 3, 2, 3, 0, 3, 2, 0, 2. the top. Oh, oh, 3, 2, 3, oh, 3, 2, oh, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, oh, 2, 3, 2, oh, 2, oh. Oh, oh, 3, 2, 3, oh, 3, 2, oh, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, oh, 2, 3, 2, 2, oh, 2. One more time. Oh, oh, 3, 2, 3, oh, 3, 2, oh, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 2, oh, 2, oh. Oh, oh, 3, 2, 3, oh, 3, 2, oh, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, oh, 2, 3, 2, 2, oh, 2. Okay. Okay, so you get the idea. The melody's nothing, right? The melody's nice, but there's nothing fancy there. Just 1, 2s, and 3s. That's it. Nothing too challenging there. Okay, we like cowboy music in that sense is that they're not working on trying to impress you with their complexity. They're working at telling a story. They're telling you, making you sad, making you want to cry. Pretty good at it with 3 chords. Okay, so what we're trying to do then is take that basic unadorned melody and we're going to adorn it with your thumb. Okay, and this takes a lot of practice, and I'll probably blow it pretty good here. But let's go through. We'll do every single measure, and then we'll go through and try playing it a couple times. Okay, so now be thinking about grabbing your claw shape. Boom. Okay, and I grab my claw right above the hole because I want to be away from the fretboard. I want to have plenty of room to work. Okay, now I'm going to hit the 0 with my ring, and then I'm going to hit ring and thumb at the same time. And then I'm going to play this melody, 3, 2, and then I'm going to play the 3 again, and I'm going to hit my thumb on the top string. And I've already changed my chord, but I wouldn't have had to necessarily, but I do want to have my 3 there. Okay, now we're going to go back to the A chord. I'm going to hit the 2 on the bottom and the 0 with my thumb. Lift up the 2, and then the other 2's already down. You're going to grab your index finger on the 1 and then your thumb on the 6th string. Go back to your A and hit the third string and the 5th string. And then the 2, you got to open up the 2nd and 4th string. Okay, those are all played with my middle finger. And then you're going to go to 2-0, which is again an A chord. Hit the 0 and then hit the 2, which you're already holding down. And then you go grab your E7, top 2nd string and 6th string. And then let that ring a little longer, right? It's twice as long as the notes that preceded it. And then you're going to go to measure 5. You got a 5th and 1st string open. 3, 2, 3, open, 3 and 6, 2 and 0, 1 and 6, third string and 5th string, 2nd and 4th. Full A chord in measure 8. And the 3rd string opens on 2 and 6. And then back to the A chord. Okay, and then that takes us back up. Okay, it's hard, but I like the boom chuck. That's the funnest. That's not a word. That's the most fun part about playing cowboy music is that boom chuck chuck or pa pa. Once you get it right, it's hard in the beginning because we're fighting the rhythm type of thing. But once you get it, you can really make yourself sound good, and you can really watch professional guitarists and professional singers, especially who play guitar. They use that like crazy. That system comes up. Boom chuck chuck. all 6/8 and all 3/4 work together in that way. I hear all sorts of sirens going on outside of my house. I hope the world isn't coming to an end. All right, so now we know walking bass, and you can see it quite plainly in the tablature, right? A little bit, well, you can actually see it quite plainly in the standard notation, but you see the 0. That's it. That's your bass, okay? Now, in the band, the bass player is in charge of that business. He takes care of that. She takes care of that. You don't have to worry about that, okay? You're either playing melody or you're playing chords, but the bass player is taking care of all of that. Now, as a solo guitarist, you don't have a bass player, right? You look around, don't have one. And so that means you get to do it. And that means a lot of work with your thumb. And I think this song is actually a nice enough tune where you give you a chance to really work on that over time and maybe develop some skills in that neighborhood. So let's give it a try. We're going to play crazy slow. 1, 2. Oh, pluck, 3, 2, pluck. Oh, 3, pluck. Oh, 2, pluck. 2, 2, pluck. 2, pluck. 2, 3, pluck. Oh, 2, pluck. Oh, pluck. 3, 2, 2, pluck. Oh, 3, pluck. Oh, 2, pluck. 2, pluck. I'm sorry, pluck. 2, 2, pluck. 2, 3, pluck. 2, oh, pluck. Let's do it again from the top. Oh, pluck. 3, 2, 2, pluck. Oh, 3, pluck. Oh, 2, pluck. 2, 2, pluck. 2, pluck. 2, 3, pluck. Oh, 2, pluck. Oh, pluck. 3, 2, pluck. Go 3, pluck. Oh, 2, pluck. 2, pluck. 2, 2, pluck. 2, 3. Second ending. Pluck. 2, pluck. Pluck. And then I've got this fancy A chord on the end. Okay, or. That's my go-to on the end of a song. I think it sounds great every single time. All right, so you get the idea, right? So with this walking bass, I will again play it every day this week just to make sure that it's starting to sink in a little bit, and it's just that boom, doo 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 doom, boo doo doom, boom boom boom, boom 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 boom, and so on those booms, the boom. What we want to do is make sure we hit that as clean and as loud as we can. As I walked out on the streets of Laredo. And at those moments, boom, 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 using your thumb to its advantage. And that's a nice way to end up with combining not singing, but the melody, along with the technique we were working on with singing, which is the boom chuck chuck or the pa pa. And then you've got all that stuff combined together, and you really are playing some fine music. So you go to, as I walked out on the streets of Laredo. So that's boom pa pa, pa pa, pa pa, pa pa, pa pa. So you're combining that, and then instead of doing the whole chord, you're just plucking the melody and the bass note of that chord, and you end up with something that sounds really, really cool. And you'll also notice as you become more competent in this, how often you'll hear, a guitar player doing that type of thing. That's another type of walking bass where you'll hear the chord just going down, dun 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 dun, and getting to the next idea. And so that's another method of walking the bass around. Okay. All right. More than enough on Streets of Laredo. Let's go take a look at YMCA. We haven't had a chance to even talk about it yet, really. And I did get emails from a couple of you. I don't know for sure who's up here in the widget, but I did get it. It is very likely that I got your email, and I still need to get you out the sheet music. I'll get those done as soon as we're offline here. Okay, so YMCA, it's a 3-pager. Here's what you should know. It's got 6 verses. If you're singing it, maybe all 6 verses it seems appropriate, but truthfully, twice through is plenty. Okay, so I would play the measures, do verses 1 and 2 and wrap it up as a guitarist. Okay, so let's go through, talk about the chords. First off, we're back in A. A is the best chord on guitar, I think, or best key on guitar, because you have the least amount of weird stuff happen with it. Okay, young man, there's no need to feel down, I said. Now, this is the one that we don't necessarily love, okay? Bar on 2, E minor shape in front. So just remember, you're playing in the E minor. Here's your E minor. Sometimes you play it index and middle. Sometimes we play it with middle and ring. In this case, you're going to play it with the ring and pinky. But you're going to slide it up 2, and you're going to add a bar on 2. Okay, F sharp minor. Okay, and because it's pretty stretched apart, it's very common to take your middle finger and just jam it down on top of that. Get a little cleaner sound out of it, right? So it would be, young man, there's no need to feel down, I said. Young man, pick yourself off the ground, I said. D chord, young man, 'cause you're in a new town, there's no E7 need to be unhappy. Now you go back to the top. Young man, there's no place you can go, I said. Young man, when you're short on your dough, you said, stay there, you can stay there. And I'm sure you will find many ways to have a good time. Here's the fun part. Okay, so remember down by the riverside, I think we have percussion. Now it really shows up in a real song. Okay, so a couple of choices. Thumb, just tap the top of your guitar and use your thumb. Okay. The other thing a lot of fingerstyle players do, they'll hit their 6th string. I don't necessarily recommend that because you're going to tear up your frets and tear up your strings, and you get to buy new strings and possibly a new guitar from doing that, right? So for me, I usually tap it here, tap it here. We're just trying to get the idea of percussion in there. You don't really want to ruin your guitar in the process, right? There should many place to have a good time. It's fun to stay at the... Now we're going to sing that part and no chord there. It's fun to stay at the... Now grab your A chord. YMCA. It's fun to stay at the YMCA. Now respect that quarter, that half note, tied half note. Okay, so it's an 8th note in measure 13, a half note in measure 14, and a quarter note rest. So it's a long time before you come back in. It's fun to stay at the YMCA. It's fun to stay at what? It's fun to stay at the YMCA. Let it ring for a minute. They have, now, when you're on F sharp minor, bar on 2, these guys here. To get to B minor, all you do is drop these 2 guys down a string and add your middle finger on 2nd string 3rd fret. Okay, so it's the same position here, and then you just pull these guys down. Everything for young men. Now, I don't remember how it goes here. It's so that's the motion, right? F sharp minor, B minor. And by the way, that's going to come up in your life. That's going to be a move that you have to make often. Okay, because if you think about it, let's talk music theory for just a second. You put this in front of your face. Use your right hand, or I'm sorry, use your left hand. Okay, you're in the key of A. Okay, so we got a B minor here that comes up sometimes. Okay, and then you got a C minor here, C sharp minor in this case. It's not going to come up that much, but then you've got D major that comes up all the time. You got that here in the next couple of measures. You're going to have that D. You're going to have an E7, which you've already been playing all day today. So A, D, E7, and then F sharp minor is hanging out over here. So this F sharp minor and this B minor are pairing up to be friends. Okay, so it makes sense that these chords are all in this song. Okay, all right. So let's go from measure 10. We'll play into the repeat just so that you can get a sense of what's going on there. So measure 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, rest. It's fun to stay at the YMCA. It's fun to stay at the YMCA. They have everything for young men to enjoy. You can hang out with all the boys. 4, and then we're going to repeat. Okay, we're going to repeat back to measure 10. So we do that section twice. Now, you will notice in the chords, I made no effort whatsoever to go from B minor to B minor 7th, and then back. When I'm playing tough acts, I will. Okay, but if I'm singing and strumming it, that is way too much work. And it doesn't necessarily even sound that great, right? So I'm going to write B minor all the way through those. Is that cheating? Maybe a little bit. Is it smart musicianship? Maybe a lot, right? And so depending on your skill level, you decide, is it worth doing those B minor 7ths or not? I'm telling you right now, it's not. But if you feel like you're a purist, I'm going to get everything just perfectly right. The idea would be, they have everything that you men can enjoy. You can hang out with all the boys. I would not lose sleep over that. If you can do it, great. If you can't do it, just ride the B minor all the way through those 2 measures. I think it'll make it way easier on you. Okay, you can hang out with all the boys. And then let's go back to measure 10. It's fun to stay at the YMCA. It's fun to stay at the YMCA. You can get yourself clean. You can have a good meal. You can. And then you go into the 3rd page. It's easiest just to memorize it. This is what you do. Do whatever you feel. Okay, so that's the end of the main part of the song. Now, if you are happy with your progress at that point, you just play it out to the end. That's what we will be doing, probably until the very last night that we do this song. We would just continue right on to the end of the song. But as the sheet music says, at measure 20, if you want to return to start, if you want, comma, return to start. Okay, then play verses 3 and 4. And then you come back here, and then you go back and play verses 5 and 6. Okay, so you have a long song here if you want it to be, or you can keep it simple. For us on the daily broadcast here, we will just do verses 1 and 2. I don't think verses 3 or 4 or 5 and 6 particularly add anything compelling to the overall story. The message is, go to the YMCA. It's a good place. Okay, that's the overall bottom line message with the song, and it doesn't really change the more verses you do. Okay, now when I get to measure 20, and I've made the decision, yep, I've had enough of this tune. I'm going to go ahead and finish out. Again, measure 21 is same as previously. It's fun to stay at the, and then A chord, YMCA. It's fun to stay at the, and then to wrap it up, we go to the fifth, A, B, C, D, E, 7. We go to the fifth, YMCA. And again, as we were talking about in the previous song, you've got a bar chord here and a pinky up there. A. Get that nice A to wrap it up. Okay, so you might want to do that chord to wrap it up if you're a singer. Okay? All right, so that's how the sheet music flows, the chords flow. And again, you'll be messing around with what type of chord pattern is going to sound best for my presentation. For me, I think this is sort of a nice steady strummer, but you could probably go in and take a look at, hey, does it make sense to pluck it? As with all of the songs we do, you try it multiple ways, find your way that makes the most sense for you. Don't lose sleep over the stuff you can't do. Don't worry about overall sound quality as you're learning a song. There will be this song that comes along that just cooperates with you, your brain, your hands, your guitar, and then that's the song you will turn into something. In the meantime, we use all of this stuff as exploratory information and things we're trying to figure out if we enjoy playing this song or that song or whatever. You're going to make those decisions. So now let's go into playing the melody. How are we doing on time? We're going to wrap it up here in just a second. Okay, so let's play the melody. We'll play it 2 times through as written. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. 0, 2, 2, 0, 2, 0, 2, 0, 2, 0, 2, 2, 2, 0, 2, 0, 2, 0, 2, 3, 3, 2, 0, 2, 3, 2, 5, 2, 4, 2, 0, 3, 2, 0. Back to the top. 0, 2, 2, 0, 2, 0, 2, 0, 2, 2, 2, 0, 2, 0, 2, 0, 2, 3, 3, 2, 0, 2, 3, 2, 5, 2, 4, 2, 0, 3, 2, 0. Tap, 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 tap. Rep. 2, 2, 0, 2, 0, 2, 0, 2, 0, 2, 0, 2, 2, 0, 2, 0, 2, 0, 2, 0, 2. Rest, rest. 5, 2, 5, 5, 5, 2. I'm sorry. 5, 5, 5, 2. 5, 2, 5, 5, 5, 2. 5, 2, 5, 2. 0, 5, 5, 2. 0. Back to major 10. 2, 0, 2, 0, 2, 0, 2. 0, 2, 0, 2, 2, 0, 2, 0, 2, 0, 2, 0, 2, 3, 4. 5, 2, 5, 5, 5, 2. 5, 2, 5, 5, 5, 2. 5, 2, 5, 2. 0, 5, 5, 2, 0. And you've dropped into the second repeat, right? It's the same as the first repeat. Just know, oops, I should have been in the second repeat, which I should have been. Okay, I hit that measure 20, 2, 0, and then we wrap it up. Rest 2, 0, 2, 0, 2, 0, 2. 0, 2, 0, 2, 2, 0, 2, 0, 2, 0, 2, 0, 5. Okay, now, as you're looking through here, there's no ones. There's no ones at all, right? And I already blew it once, and so I just learned myself a lesson. You got 2s, you got a lot of 5s, and you got a lot of 3s. So this is a song that's begging to be played in second position, right? So that the 2s become your index finger, your 3s become your middle finger, pinky ends up on 5, and then you don't have to move around. You're just hanging out in that position, and you're all set. Thanks for getting with us. There are actually 4 seasons every day. There are 4 seasons every day in the NAC. Oh, Evelyn, I did not know that. First of all, one, you live in the Andes. How cool is that? Two, I did not know it changed. I guess on typically mountains, right? In mountains, the weather comes around and crazy all of the time, right? Same thing happens up in our mountains. You go up there and everything's fine, and then all of a sudden, you're in a snowstorm, and you're like, what in the heck, right? So yeah, that makes sense. Now that makes sense, Evelyn. All right, thanks for sharing that. All right, very quickly, we're going to run through the tough acts, and then that'll be that for enough instruction for the week. And then starting tomorrow, we'll try to get all 4 songs, and I'll talk less, we'll play more. How about that? All right, so tough acts. A chords, please. Little strum. Okay. Dun, dum. You can also pluck it. Then 0 2 2. That's just extra. That's just a placeholder. 2 0. Play this chord. 2 0 2 0. And okay, so I didn't do that very well. Let me do from 1. Okay, so that's the important note. Bum. And then I've got this placeholder 0. 2 0. Now you switch to your F sharp minor. Go grab a 2 4 and a 2. Just a placeholder. 2 0 2 0 2 0. That's a hard section because you're actually going to be raising and lowering your bar to get these zeros. Okay, so it's already a hard enough chord, and then you've got to go right. So you're going to have to get your bar out of the way. It's a little bit of a bummer. Okay, measure 5. You're going to get your D chord on. Placeholder 3 2. Okay, then measure 6. Just lift up. Add the 2. And then a D chord. Pinky out. This is the only weird chord in here. It's a 3 and 2 4s. All it is your D7 slid up to the 3rd fret. Okay, and then you can hit the 0 here because it's fine. That sounds cool. And then you're going to go grab the 2. Open. E7. 3. And then a 2. Strum again. And we go back, do it again, then tap, 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 and then measure 10. We start with the melody. Nice bar on 2. Regular A. Measure F sharp minor. 5. And then you've got 4 4 3 5. That's your A minor shape, but up on 3, and your pinky's on 5. And then 0 2 0 2. That's why the B minor 7th is there. It sounds great when you're playing it as an instrumental. A minor shape with the 5. And a D chord with your pinky. At the end are just filling up space so they give you time to go back to the top of the song if you want to, or to go back to measure 10, whatever. In this case, you'd go back to measure 10 because we just went through it once. And then let's finish up. Let's go down to measure 21. Okay, so we're going to hit those 2 Ds. Rest. 2 0 2 0 2 0. Bar chord. E7 and measure 24. Slide the 1 up. And then that bar chord A. Okay. So this is not a hard song to play compared to what we've been playing. if you're newer and you're still working on getting leveling up to being in this spot, then sure, heck yeah, this is a lot of work. But I do think that this is one of those that you can play, right? And so start with the chords, make sure the chords are making sense, then play through the melody, make sure the melodies, and then take your time and put the tough acts together. And don't feel any obligation to play at the speed that the village people play it at, right? They are disco, they are 1975, 78. Their plan for this is much different than your plan. Your plan is almost to parody it, to make a little bit of fun of this song, but in a soft, gentle acoustic guitar. Thank you very much for sharing this with me, village people kind of way, right? So we don't want to overthink it, right? We're going to do it soft and beautiful. Da dum, da 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 dum, ba dum, ba dum. Right, and so no reason to get too focused in on playing it at their speed, because those guys had a band and you and your guitar. So that's it for today. Tomorrow we will play through all 4 songs, and we'll see how we do. The music this week is a little weird. It's a little bit of this and a little bit of that. That doesn't seem to be a common theme throwing through everything. So hopefully one of the ways of playing guitar makes the most sense to you. So I think that's what I know for Wednesday. It is Wednesday, right? So Thursday we will dive in. We're almost to the end of the week. Holy Moses. All right, Vic. All right, Evelyn. All right, whoever's hanging out up here. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. I'm going to end the stream. We're full of fire and smoke and here in Denver. Evelyn sounds like she's having rain one minute and sun the next. And Vic, I hope you're having a good day up there. Nancy, I hope you're doing well. Good to see you always. And we do have a fun song. This is a popular song. Everybody knows this song. So if you end up as a instrumental on this and just playing it in your way, you get to really create something fun. So good to see all of you guys, and I will see all of you tomorrow. Have a great night. Be safe.